What's up, guys? So, this morning, man, I traded SOPA. This thing was a little bit choppy, but and then I had a hard time finding this thing too. Like, I couldn't find anything to trade. Nothing was really on the scanner. But then this thing popped up on the scanner, and immediately I jumped in right there. Actually, let me just play the video and I'll just comment. Makes it shorter. All right, so I'm gonna hit the play button. So as you can see, I was just looking for something to trade. It's 9:30. Bell just rang. Can't find anything. Um, I was looking at this one to see if it would pop up, even though it's not really my strategy. But there was nothing else. Everything was like there was nothing looking good. So none of the top gainers were looking good. And then I saw SOPA. Immediately it was starting to move in up. So I jumped in as soon as it popped above go time. But I got a late start. I should have been jumping in like right about there. So, but I knew, it's a low price stock. So if it drops down, which was what I was actually looking for, then that way I get a better average, which means I would pretty much be in right around go time. So between here and there, I kind of got a better average. Somewhere in the middle would be right about there. So now I'm just watching it. And again, I told you guys. Oh, I'm going to the daily chart right now, just trying to see where it's gonna have some issues. So I draw my lines where it's gonna have some issues right around there, and also up there. So I draw my lines. Now I know where it's going to have some issues. So go back to the 1 minute chart. Let's go. All right, so I'm still watching it, and I have this rule where if I'm not down $1,000, I don't really sell. If I'm down 1,000, then I try to get out. But I know there's some support here because that's where we drew that line, and I know there's it can potentially go up to 297, which you could see it actually really did go up to that level. So this line there, if you go on the daily chart, you can identify these spots by going on the daily chart. The daily chart is right there. You click on the daily chart. Um, but yeah, so now I'm just waiting for it to at least go halfway because this thing's not really doing much, and it did go up this way, up this far. But I'm hoping that it actually goes to where it needs to go, which is up to this level. But it just was taking too long, man. This thing was just taking a while. Very choppy, bouncing up and down, really lows, and high highs. So it was very choppy. So at this point, I kind of didn't even want to trade it. But I was a little bit down, like $300 right around there. So I was like, let me just hang on to it. Um, but at one point, yeah, when it dropped down this far, I was down like 1,300. Um, but it wasn't that big of a deal because it popped right back up. Um, so I'm just waiting for it to kind of like do what it's supposed to do. But sometimes you just gotta wait. So right now we're basically at this candle, I believe. Here, one, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. So we're basically at this candle here. I could have sold here and took a small profit, but I just kind of wanted to hit my goal. Um, and plus, I was in the green, so I didn't feel like selling right now. I kind of wanted to hit this mark. So let me give you guys a quick tip, a quick nugget, real quick. So you see how this candle right here is like a doji. This is like a cross. I call it, a cross. Some people call it a doji. But when it's like a cross like that, let's say the direction, you can see the direction is going down, 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 down. So when you see a cross, it's supposed to go the other direction. So I'm basically watching this candle, and now that I saw the doji, now I know it's going to start going up. Not 100% of the time it does it, but pretty good odds that it typically does it. So now I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for it to do that pop because I just saw the doji. Now it's got to, the trend has to change. Kind of like over here, like watch. If you're watching this going down, 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 you see this doji, it starts going up. You see what I'm saying? This is where I hear is not really a complete doji. You could see this is not a complete cross. So now I'm over here. I'm about to sell because I know this is a resistance area. So I sold. As soon as I saw that wick forming, I sold. And at that point, I was up like 800 bucks. But in order to hit my goal, I need 200 more bucks. Then I see volume kicking in. So I decided, okay, volume is kicking in. Let me wait a little bit for it to drop a little bit. I'm going to wait for a quick drop and then I'm going to jump in. And boom, I jumped in there as soon as I saw a quick drop. And now I'm expecting it to go back and break through this line right there. And it's just taking its sweet time. Like it just, I'm like, man, come on. So it just wasn't exploding like I thought it would. But as you can see, I'm buying like I'm still in the green, so I'm not too worried about it. It's not going below my entry point. I'm gonna show you guys like when to really double up and size up. You're gonna see this next move that happens here. You're gonna see how I just kind of sized up on it. And the only reason I did that is when something has a drastic, like a drop, when it drops hard. Okay, so now it's going back up. So now I know this is a resistance area. So I take this little 120 right there. So I'm almost above my goal. I'm almost about to hit my goal. So I took a screenshot of this. I was just really gonna quit at this point because it was just taking too long to do what it's supposed to do. I was supposed to have been hit 1,000 bucks by now, but I'm like at nine something. Um, so I figured, man, let me take one more trade because this thing is still uptrending. It's above VWAP, so buyers are still in control. So I figured, let me take one more trade because I have a feeling that it's gonna break $3. That's how I was feeling at the time. I was looking how strong this thing is. It was just upward momentum for a long time. So now I'm like, okay, this thing, let me look at the volume. Let's see if this volume is kicking in. I saw volume kicking in. You can see the volume is just rising and rising and rising. So at that point, I'm like, I'm going to jump in. It's going to break. So I jump in for the break. And of course, it lets me down. So at this point, now I'm like, okay, so either I'm going to take a small loss or I'm going to wait for it to drop down and I could double up. And I know it's going to average somewhere in between here because these candles are pretty much in this area. So I knew it would come back to this area and I would just sell it and I would not be in the red. So I figured if it drops, I'm going to just double up. And if it goes, then at least I hit my 1,000. So now I'm watching it. And the perfect time to double up is when something drops hard and then you start seeing that wick forming. Once that wick forms, boom, you just jump in. But you got to be quick because sometimes if you're not quick enough, you end up taking that loss. Okay, you see how it drops hard? Boom. And mind you, these are EMA lines. Of course, I always try to buy as close to the EMA as possible. So now I know it's going to go back somewhere around here because most of these candles are basically around this area. You can see that. It may not make new highs, but I know it's going to at least see. Now, I know once something drops hard, it typically bounces. It's like a ball. Like if you take a ball, you drop it, it bounces off of that floor. So this is like a floor and it bounces. So now I'm just kind of waiting for it to go halfway or a little bit above halfway so I could, boom, I hit my goal and I was done for the day. And now watch. I take a screenshot. And of course, I'm gonna post this on YouTube, on Facebook. But that's it. That's basically it. So let's stop this video here. So as you can see, at this candle here is where I sold last, which is right there. And you know, because I felt this thing was just so shaky and it wasn't giving enough, and it kept just, it was just, it was just like choppy. You know, it was very choppy. So you know, I got out here, and look what happened after I got out. Good thing. Like sometimes you gotta use your intuition. You know, some people just are built for this. I'm not gonna say this game is for everyone because obviously if everyone did it, you know, it wouldn't be as fun and you know, like it wouldn't be as profitable. If everyone could do this, then you know, it wouldn't be like very profitable at all. Um, I think maybe like I have a small gift for like intuition. Like I kind of feel like I'm part of this game. Like it's part of me, and I kind of have this intuition when I feel like I better get out and just leave and run away, and that's it. And as soon as you see I sold it there, um, now mind you, you know, part of the reason being is when I hit my goal, I want to quit. Like you should have a goal in mind, and you should adjust your shares to where if you get 35 to 45 cents, you should be hitting your goal. So adjust your amount of shares that you're buying, like whatever your goal is. If your goal is $300 per day, adjust your shares to where if you can get 30 cents out of the market, 30 to 40 cents, you will make $300. So I don't know what your goals are. My goals are different than yours. But if your goals are basically whatever your goals are, just adjust your amount of shares to where 35 to 4, because the market typically gives you 35, 45 cents within the first 10, 15 minutes. It does that like every day. But it's just a matter of finding the right stock at the right time and jumping in at the right time to make it. Like if I had jumped in at the right time here, which is as soon as I see this pullback and I jump in right here, I could have just made this. I would have been done between here and there. But I saw it a little bit late, so that's why I ended up taking a lot more trades. And then this thing was very choppy, so sometimes stocks are choppy, so you're gonna have to double up. Um, I don't recommend that for new people, but if you're a little bit quick and you are a little bit seasoned, I would say go for it as long as it's above the VWAP. Buyers are in control. If you're a long bias trader, obviously. So I'm a long bias trader, so if it's above VWAP, I feel a little bit confident. And if it drops hard, I know I'm gonna buy because it's bouncing off of VWAP. It's gonna bounce. Typically, it bounces. Now, if it went here and then went below go time, of course I'm gonna get out because at that point I'm below $1,000, and you gotta have a max loss. You gotta have a max loss. That's another important thing. First important thing is adjusting your shares to where um, you can hit your daily goal within 35 to 45 cents because the market typically gives you that. And then the second thing is having a max loss. If you have a max loss, as soon as you hit that loss, get out, end it for the day. It's not your day. You can have a better day tomorrow. Learn to retreat, and live to fight another battle instead of sitting there and taking that loss and getting crushed. Like 300, you remember those guys from 300? They went to war and they were beating everyone at first, but then um but then they came they were getting their butts whooped. They were getting whooped, and instead of quitting, they decided, no, we're gonna go all out. So all 300 of them died on that battlefield. So they could have just retreated, came back stronger, and defeated them, but they just decided they didn't want to retreat. So again, have a max loss. Once you hit that loss, you're losing the battle. Retreat, turn everything off. The next day is going to be a better day because every day you have new opportunities. So, um, as soon as I hit my goal, I typically shut it down. Just imagine after I did this, and let's say this thing started popping up, and then I jumped in right here, and then it got me and went all the way down this deep. Reason I want to stop as soon as I hit my goal is because I know most traders, if they get 35, 40 cents, they're stopping for the day. They're quitting. They're done. So after just imagine between right here, which is 272 and 297, right? 71 and 97, 71, 81, 91. That's close to 30 cents. But mind you, if you're grabbing it, jumping in right here and right there, you know, you're going to get that 35, 40 cents. You're going to get that 35, 40 cents. So if you're jumping in here, selling here, jumping in here, selling here, you're going to get that 35, 40 cents. So even if you don't get it, you'll be very close to it. So um, again, just try to as soon as you hit your goal, just like stop, because once people hit their goals, they stop. And what happens when they stop? This happens. It goes all the way back down because there's no people buying anymore. They're done. They're done. They already hit their goal. Like me, I hit my goal right here. I stopped, and look what happened. Majority of us long bias traders, we hit our goals between right there, and then we stop. And look what happens when we stop. And this happens every day. So, it goes up and then it goes all the way back down. It goes up. So we're trying to find the ones that are about to pop, go up. We trade on this side, and then we let the other guys make their money on the downside. So, don't be greedy. Don't trade all day. Have a goal in mind. Have a max loss. If you hit that max loss, turn everything off, and that's it. You're done for the day. But don't stay all day, because these stocks that we trade, they normally go up and go all the way back down. So you don't want to be caught trading all day. You made a little bit of profit, and then you end up losing all your money. All right, that's it. We're going to keep it short. I know this video is already long. So, yeah, just have a max loss. And once you hit your max loss, get out of there. And, just be smart about what you're doing. Is money on the line. So, yeah. So that's about it. I'm going to call it a day. I'll chat with you guys another day. I don't post every day. Sometimes I take L's, and like yesterday I took an L. I didn't want to post. I don't really post my L's. I like to motivate people. So, but yeah, yesterday I took an L. The day before I took an L too. I took L 2 days in a row. Yesterday was a small L. The day before was a bigger L. So now I'm back on the horse, and just being quick about my trades now. So that way I don't take more L's. But yeah, you take L's in this game. It's part of the game. But overall, um, I'm pretty much green overall for the week. So anyhow, I gotta go. Chat with you guys next time.